Hi, Kenny. Sorry, for some reason it wasn't going through.
So I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. Well, not technical difficulties, but I just finished an interview, so that's why it was taking me so long. I was trying to cut it short, so my apologies.
Okay, no problem.
But thank you so much for being on the
Anytime.
show, and I'm definitely looking forward to this interview for sure. Um, so let's go
Well,
ahead.
thank you.
So let's go ahead and begin. What got you into being an actress?
Well, originally I had been in fashion design and doing the design thing. I had come up with an issue at the company I was working at. It was a very large company. They felt I spoke too fast, so they insisted I take some classes to fix the issue. And when I couldn't find a speech class, my immediate boss, who thought it was a joke, but it came from her boss's boss, she suggested I take an acting class, and I just fell in love.
And I'm looking at your Twitter handle, which is at Jessica Karen underscore actress, filmmaker, a screen queen. I definitely like the screen queen part. And you are a horror nerd.
Correct.
And you in the West Coast. You in the West Coast. So
Correct. I live in Los Angeles.
um, so I guess when I first started to talk to you via Twitter, I think you was filming a movie in Ohio at the time.
Oh,
Uh,
probably. I film all over the world.
yeah, so why don't you go ahead and talk about some of the films you have in the works and how's that been like?
Okay, so the film that I was currently working on that was shooting in Ohio is a movie called An Ending. It's a film that I'm co-directing and starring in. It is a really artistic horror film, so something really different. We're hoping to start festivals in early 2017, so be on the lookout for that. It's the first time I've worked with a giant 8.5-foot monster, so that was really fun. And then I've got Truth or Dare, which is going to be coming out through distribution. And then Mania, which is my fucked up lesbian love story, which I directed and created, is going to be continuing festivals until the end of the year, at which point it'll go into distribution for that.
That's awesome. I've just started to being a fan of horror movies, mostly because I went to a convention. It's at the Lexington, Kentucky. That's where I live. It's called Scarefest, and
Gotcha.
they are known for having people from horror and paranormal. Um, Now, what type of films? Now, I know you've done horror movies, obviously, but have you done paranormal type of films before?
Oh, yes. I've done ghost movies. I've done pretty much every kind of subgenre. If you look at my IMDb, I think you'll see somewhere around 70 films listed, and there's another 40 or 50 that did not get listed or have since been removed.
Cool, cool. So, which type of films do you enjoy doing the most? Are you more into the horror side or paranormal?
Well, I think paranormal is a type of horror film, so
Hmm.
they're kind of the same thing.
Okay, okay. So,
Yeah.
was there any influences you had that led you into acting? It could be like horror, it could be mainstream type of actors and actresses. Do you have any influences?
I'm inspired by so many wonderful people. Jamie Lee Curtis is certainly one that I love and adore, who I think is just phenomenal. I think the fact that she's been able to have such a wonderful career on top of also having a family and a personal life, and then kind of doing her own thing with yogurt ads and books and such, I think is great. But there's really, no shortage. I think anybody who can get a career out of this industry is doing something right.
So here's something else I want to ask you. What do you consider the biggest challenge that you have ever had when it comes to doing a scene? What do you think? What do you consider the biggest challenge that you've ever had to deal with?
Um, you know what? It's usually, for me, it's just about getting the shot. So I think as an actor, it can be really challenging when you're running out of daylight or something like that, and there's so many moving pieces to a scene. making sure that it goes quickly because you only have you don't have an unlimited time frame to get the shot. I think that can be really challenging.
I definitely can see that for sure. It's definitely, especially when you do indie films. It's low budget. You don't have much to work with, so you try to make the most of what you can. And so,
I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I've been really lucky. A lot of the films I've worked on, although they're independent, they have a
yeah.
lot to work with.
Okay. And you know, so I guess I mean there are some challenges from time to time, but I guess it's a matter of what you make out of it, I guess. And for the most part, from a lot of horror films I got to see, I think I've seen more independent horror than mainstream type of horror films, and they turn out just as good. It's very appealing. It definitely scares the lights out of me sometimes. Um, so has there ever been a movie that you have watched, whether you star in it or not, that even made you scared, make you like, oh my goodness, what just happened? Has there ever been that time that you've watched a movie that even made you scared, like, oh man, what did I just watch? Or is it just
Um,
like,
I think The Hills Have Eyes. I wasn't like, oh my God, what did I just watch? So much as it was something that really did creep into my subconscious and really affected me, but it wasn't necessarily, oh my God. I mean, I was very much aware about what I just watched. So it was definitely a different kind of fear, but it was intense, and it really stuck with me years later.
okay. Um, so what do you consider as the highlight of your career? The one moment that stand out to you. It could be a film that you did, it could be a scene that you've done, or it could be someone that you have worked with on the same film. What do you consider the biggest highlight of your career?
I'm really blessed in the fact that there's been so many. Certainly getting some of the awards that I've been blessed to win. I've been awarded awards by Sid Haig and Linda Blair, who are two people that I really respect. So those are certainly highlights, I think, within the career. Hopefully there'll be more to come.
For sure. I definitely have looked through your resume, and you are definitely very established, and you have quite the fan base as well. You definitely been getting a lot of support. Um, how would you best describe the fan base that you've had and the support that you've getting, and even those that you've inspired that make them want to do movies as well? Like, how would you best describe the support you get from your fans?
I think they're just great, like-minded people who I've been really blessed to sort of get to know. So I consider myself really lucky and really blessed to have them in my life.
Shout out to all the fans out there that's definitely supported Jessica throughout the years. And now, in your Twitter bio, it says Screen Queen, and I've always wanted to ask this. And I was wondering if you could do me a favor. And I've asked this before from a local Screen Queen, and she's done it. I was wondering, I don't know if you want to do it or not, but it doesn't hurt but to ask. But I would love if you would do your best scream on air.
I love to, but unfortunately I can't. It's 6 o'clock here in Los Angeles, and all my neighbors are awake, and I can hear my neighbor doing a tattoo next door.
Oh, okay.
So if I had known in advance, I could have gone over and sort of cleared with the building. But I would not want to negatively affect a tattooing situation.
Yeah.
Or interrupt her business. I live in a little building in Los Angeles, California, so it's a very busy little building. So again, it's just something that has to be cleared in advance, unfortunately.
Well, it was worth a try. And I understand tattoo artists, they definitely gotta have that concentration. One mishap could not be a
Correct.
good whistle. Um, so what would your advice be to anyone out there that wants to get into acting? What would your advice be?
You know what? I always tell people the same thing. I'm like, look for classes in your area. Look for, things that you could do within a reasonable time and a drive time to where you live and work. And kind of just get out there and start doing it. Every single state, everywhere, there are classes. There are people teaching classes. There are people that need help. There are people making movies. Technology coming down so far in price means that there's films literally happening constantly everywhere. So definitely just get out there and take advantage of that.
That is some absolute great advice, for sure. Definitely go to classes, learn, and be dedicated to it. There's a lot of actors and actresses out there. They say they want to do it, but they're not willing to put the full effort into it, and that leads to a lot of people's downfall because they weren't willing to go the extra mile. They weren't willing to go through what people like you go through to get to the opportunities that were presented to you. So that is some absolute great advice. Um, and it's not just towards actors; it's toward any entertainer out there. Like if you want it so bad, you gotta start small and work your way up for sure. And definitely reach out to those who's been around just so that be around good crowd, be around good people, be around people that really want you to succeed. So that's it's a lot to take under you know the pursuit of being established as yourself. You definitely have made a name for yourself, and I'm definitely a fan of yours for sure. And you're definitely on the bigger things, and you're just getting started, and you're not stopping. So I give kudos to you and all the indie actors out there all over the world that's doing what y'all love doing.
Thank you. We try to work really hard, I think, overall.
Absolutely true. And so Jessica, usually I'm off the air by 9 o'clock, which will be 6 o'clock your time. But the station pretty much allowed me they allowed me to go a little over this time, and I want to thank you for being on this evening. Well, very early afternoon for you. A little after a quarter after 6 on the west coast. It's quarter after 9 here on the east. So thank you so much for your time, Jessica. I had a good time chatting with you, and I guess we can do that scream some other time.
Absolutely. Another
So
time for sure.
yes, yes. So continued success. You have a great night and have a great holiday weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye bye.
Bye now.